Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Infolores. In today's video, we will be theorizing what would happen to the common cold if everyone isolated themselves from one another. Before we dive into that, let us take a look at what the common cold is. The common cold is a viral infection of our upper respiratory tract, mainly consisting of the nose, throat and sinuses. It is caused by a variety of viruses, with the most common one being rhinovirus. Not to be confused with flu, however, flu and cold are similar but two entirely different conditions. Both of them share the same symptoms, but the common cold tends to be milder in severity, and the accompanying symptoms that follow are not as lethal as those accompanying the flu, which can lead to further health complications such as pneumonia. So how do these viruses spread exactly? These viruses usually transmit through aerosols of respiratory droplets such as coughing and sneezing. The viruses will then infect the cells in our nose and throat and use them to produce more viruses. Fortunately for us, within a few days, our immune system will be able to detect these viruses and eliminate them from our system. Our body will then be immune to this particular virus strain, and the immunity will usually last up to a few years. The most interesting thing about the cold is that there is no vaccine for it, due to how quickly it changes its genetic composition. Although the cold will go away if it is left to a perfectly functioning immune system, the fact that it keeps getting transmitted every day to millions of people through daily interactions in high-density urban cities only mean that it is the perfect environment for colds to thrive. What if, however, we were to quarantine everyone from one another? There are a number of issues that immediately come to mind, one of them being how far apart we can actually get from one another. If we were to spread out the Earth's surface evenly out, there would just be enough room for everybody to have a little over 2 hectares each, and with a distance of about 77 meters in between us and the nearest person. And although 77 meters is actually quite the distance, this separation doesn't quite exactly account for the fact that there will be people standing on the peak of the Himalayas or bearing the pinnacle of heat in the Sahara Desert. Does it still sound feasible? Well, from a biological point of view, rhinoviruses can only be transmitted through humans. Furthermore, the fact that rhinoviruses does not spread to animals means that no other species can serve as a viable vessel. Simply put, if rhinoviruses does not have enough humans to move between, they will eventually die out. Unfortunately, it is highly unlikely that everyone will have an immune system powerful enough to remove the virus. Rhinoviruses can be cleared from most people within 10 days. However, people with complications such as transplant patients will have weakened immune systems that can take up to months or even years to clear the virus. So unless everyone is content to stay isolated for that long of a duration, maybe we should just make peace with the virus. In fact, the existence of rhinoviruses may not be bad at all. Children who are not exposed to rhinoviruses have more immune disorders after reaching adolescence. The existence of rhinovirus can cause mild infection to strengthen our body immune system, and in turn may protect us from even more deadly viruses from flu. That's all we have for today's episode on Infolores. What thoughts do you have on this topic? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you found this video interesting or helpful, be sure to leave us a thumbs up, subscribe, and check out our social media platforms in the description below to read up on topics that make you wonder.